Dan and Corey here, welcoming you into Libservative.
The great fundamental issue now before our people. We, the people, cannot turn back.
Yeah, welcome in to a very special, but I would say just as rousing, just as rousing, if not arousing edition of Libservative. Corey just made a very
no, just let it go. Don't even say it. Just keep going.
Politically incorrect joke, but the reason he did that, and I'm going to ask you this question, Corey. I know your parents are in town. It's Thanksgiving week. Your dad came in. You got talking politics. You got sucking down shots on a scale of one to Nancy Pelosi at the podium. How drunk are you?
Nancy Pelosi, maybe.
Left titty or right titty?
Both. Yeah, no, it's straight up National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation over here. Like, my house is just full of people. Like, right before we started the show, I'm like, hey, before we start, I gotta take a piss. Ran out to the bathroom. Bathroom was occupied. I had to run out.
Tried to bet Bell and I when you would be back. By the way, Bell, the Bodysnatcher on the ones and twos. He is always as Corey Walsh.
He's Dan Griffin. And anyways, I ran out to go use the bathroom. It was taken. I had to run outside. My goal today was I got out of work. My goal today was to come home, do some show prep, a little show. Started doing some little bit of shots. I'm drinking some beers, introducing my dad to some like good media that's outside of Fox News and CNN and MSNBC. And I'm like, hey, listen, there's way better media out here for news.
You mean that Trump supporter media, Corey? That bad media?
Which one? MSNBC?
No, the bad stuff. The bad stuff. The stuff.
What? Oh, so MSNBC.
If it wasn't the New York Times or CNN or the Washington Post, or, if you're conservative, Fox News or the Wall Street Journal,
you're crazy.
This is the bad people.
None of them love Trump because that's where they get all their money from.
They do love Trump, don't they?
Oh,
they cannot survive without Trump.
Yeah.
I don't even think
lives
they
rent
hate
free
him.
in their brain.
I think secretly they actually enjoy.
They have to, like, that's the
Pretend.
whole gimmick, right? That's the whole gimmick is like they come out and they're like, oh, like, but that's the content. Their content is them just sitting there bitching about how much they hate Trump. When like they're making a ton of money on ad revenue because people are watching who also hate Trump, watch them talk about how much they hate Trump.
All during
but Trump
2016.
inadvertently is still just getting so much airtime. But yeah. And so I was like, no, listen. So I was introducing him to Breaking Point's Fifth Column, Jimmy Dore.
Ooh, Jimmy Dore.
Reason.
Oh
yeah.
That must have been fun.
So that was an actual conversation we had, right? Because like my dad grew up Woodstock hippie, long hair and stuff. And like I said to him, I was like, so
what a liberal or even a leftist used to represent.
Right. And because
Gotcha.
my dad was like, he's like, no, I'm pro union. He's like, I like, like I'm all for the worker. Like I'm down for everyone to have their rights. And I was like, wow, like you literally sound like a liberal from the 60s. And I'm like, you got these principled views like in the 60s and 70s. And then you just stuck with them. I'm like, and you didn't leave the Liberal Party. The party left you. Because now he labels himself as a conservative, but still has these views. And I was like, well, the conservatives really wouldn't agree with you either. And he's like, yeah, but, and then he didn't get to finish because
you are drunk. You just said Liberal Party. We don't live in Great Britain.
Oh, but you understand what I mean.
I know what you mean, but you
know
how people on the internet are mean. Oh, he thinks there's a liberal party in the United States. What a moron!
Dan,
I'm not going to listen to this anymore.
Are they going to be mean to you, Dan? Oh no! Oh man! You mean a bunch of idiots on the internet are going to be mean to me?
Mean tweets because you misspoke because you had one too many cocktails and Miller Lights as you suck one down at the moment.
No, I don't give a fuck. That's where I'm at today. I did. I hopped in like 45 minutes late to the show and just said, sorry, guys.
partying with your dad and, putting on some toe tapping CCR. Your dad's tapping his toe to CCR.
He's like,
for those
wow, this is what's. He goes,
for those
what it means to be not a fortunate son. And I'm like, yes, Dad. That's what it means not to be a fortunate son.
That is what's so funny. Like, your dad to me is like a caricature of a guy. I've said this to you multiple times. He's like a caricature of a guy who's at some sort of event and CCR comes on and he's in the corner, bobbing his head and tapping his toe. Like, that's how I think of your dad. Like, every time I hear, honestly, you can tell him I said this. When I hear CCR, I think of your dad.
You want me to go tell him right now?
You can tell him after the show, but like every time, I just think of Denny Walsh.
Before I ran in here, I was like, all right, I'm going to do my show. He goes, you want me to come in there? And I was like, no, Dad, the world's not ready for you.
If we need you, we'll call you.
Dad Walsh on here. Like, he talks like it's wild, right? Because like if you talk to him out of context, you would think he's just this old conservative. But like when you really peel back the layers, he's like, yeah, Kent State was bullshit. Like, what the fuck? Those guys were just out there just speaking their minds. And and then you talk about how like the government's trying to encroach on censorship, and he goes, no, for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. I don't give a shit what the house next to me does. And it's
that's
like,
because
you're a libertarian, Dad. And he goes, oh no, those guys are crazy.
That's because Kent State and like the actual liberal movements from your dad's era were actual movements. As to where today with the internet, it's all just hollow, synthetic. What's the word I'm looking for? Activism. Activism.
You're looking for Gen Z saying, "Oh, well, Bin Laden has good points."
Yeah, you want to start there? So
before we start anywhere, Dan. Before we start anywhere,
you got drunk and still remember to do this. Good for you.
Libservative Podcast is found on all social media and podcast platforms. Our website is libservativeshow.com. We can be found at Libservative on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Instagram and Twitter at LibservativePod. Our TikTok videos can be found at Libservative Podcast. And you can reach out directly at libservativepod@gmail.com. Subscribe today. And you know what, Dan? Actually, dude, your video you actually just dropped on our TikTok. And if someone hasn't seen our TikTok, make sure to look up LibServative on TikTok. Because, Dan, that video dropped was
dude,
Andy Warhol level. It was beautiful.
I don't mean to sound like a boomer, but I did my first TikTok duet. You gonna give me an applause? Where's my applause? We don't have an applause sounder.
No, we don't have that, but I have audio of you trying to figure it out.
Okay.
My 67 Corvette.
Yeah. It was a good one. And if you don't know what we're talking about, you as the listener, make sure to go look at Libservative Pod TikTok, and you can see Dan's duet.
My first ever duet. Oh my god! I'm so proud.
I made a shit ton of those videos, and I haven't even done a duet.
I'm so proud of myself. Anyway, yeah. So like we're gonna make full disclosure. We're recording this on a Tuesday evening, so the live stream maybe not as full as normal because this was kind of an impromptu deal. Full disclosure, we are doing a show that's meant to be a I guess you could call it a Thanksgiving special because nobody actually listens to podcasts over Thanksgiving weekend. So we decided to take some time, not do any show prep, just do a little housekeeping. Just have some items that we haven't talked about and never got to and get a little drunk and have a party. Let's go.
Keep the pivot points greased,
Yeah. And the Lucky Pierre. That's Belle. Belle's definitely the Lucky Pierre of this podcast.
Dan, I'll be honest, I have no idea what that reference means.
I think it's just the pivot point of the circle jerk. I could be wrong. Let's let our listeners correct us on whether or not that's true.
You were just okay. No,
Belle, we have we have an assignment for Belle. Belle, what is a Lucky Pierre? Find us the answer to this question. He is going to get so much porn on his computer looking this up. It's going to be fucking fantastic. We're going to lose Belle
because he's search always off. That's how I do my Googling.
There's a lot of Lucky
Everything
Pierres.
I Google, I click the tab images.
This can't
No
be that
matter
hard.
what it is.
All you got to do is all you got to do is search one of the porn sites. I guarantee you can find a Lucky Pierre. Did you find it, Bill? What's a Lucky Pierre? He's frozen. Oh, there he is. He's not frozen.
No, I'm not frozen. I'm frozen, but
It's just like Google images.
why did you do this to my computer?
He already has to do half-hour updates,
Corey.
Dan. Now it's gonna be 45 minutes.
Corey,
So
you know what a
Liberty
Lucky
Twitcher
Pierre
got us already.
No, I don't.
Liberty
know what a
Twitcher
Lucky
got us in the
Pierre is.
comments already. He says a Lucky Pierre, plural, and you can tell us if he's right. I'll read it. I'll read Liberty Twitcher's response to this. Lucky Pierre, plural being Lucky Pierres, is sex slang, and it is the person in a threesome who both penetrates and is penetrated during sex. A man in a threesome with two women.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
So the
the
man's
Lucky
being-
Pierre.
Wait, so
that's the Lucky Pierre.
Lucky Pierre, the person in a threesome who both penetrates and is penetrated. A man in a threesome with two women. So one of the women has
He's the peanut butter.
has-
He's the
yes.
peanut butter in the middle.
one of the women
one of-
is pegging him.
Yes, of course. That was implied.
So, apparently, I not implied strong enough, Dan. I didn't.
So pivot point of the
Thanks,
circle
Liberty
jerk. I was
Twitcher.
so
We're about
pivot
to
point of the
fire
circle
Bell
jerk. I
and
wasn't too
bring in
far off.
Liberty Twitcher.
Oh God, we gotta get Trump in to fire him though.
He's either better at Google than I am, or
Or he just had it like as one of his like searches.
he knows.
He knows. He knows.
He knows.
Yeah, he's
Nice.
either faster than Bell. At
Wait, why are we
Google.
assuming Liberty Twitcher's gender? Why are we assuming Liberty Twitcher's gender right now?
He, him, she, her? They,
Okay,
them,
good call. Cover them all.
They.
Us, you. I don't know how many more. X, Zim, Zer.
I'm out.
He's gender fluid. Perfect. So
He
is-
he can't. Okay. Anyway, I don't know why
gender
you're
fluid.
doing this.
and today he's non-binary.
Don't
So he does
dead
not
name.
believe in computer code, and because binary is computer code.
I get you.
it,
I
Dan?
get you. Nice dad joke. Nice dad joke. Let's
how
go.
is-
Well, I've
Let's
been
go.
hanging out with
he
my
buying
dad for the last like 3 hours. Anyways, he is either faster than Bell at the search, or he remembered that glossary term.
Or the experience.
I don't know. It's subjective, but it could be a great or bad time depending on who you are, right?
Oh,
That could be
Corey.
the best night of your life or like the worst night of your life, depending on who
depends
you
on
are.
depends on what you're into. I've always been afraid. I've always been afraid to take something up my butt.
Yeah, no, because I don't want my poo falling out of my underwear. But like
That's
when I'm
it, right?
walking.
It's the possibility of the embarrassment of
I'm
covering
stretched
something.
rubber band. Have you ever seen
Yeah.
that? I don't know. Maybe I don't know
Is
enough.
this what we're doing
because
today?
That's what we're doing today.
We're doing our best today, Bell. Because Corey got drunk, and apparently Corey getting drunk throws the whole show off the rails.
Oil spill off the coast of Louisiana, Corey. Tell us your thoughts.
That sucks.
That just happened today. We don't have any information on it whatsoever. Just had to throw it out there. Probably came from a pipeline of some sort. And it's probably the
Every time I think of an oil spill, I just think of the Enbridge pipeline in the Straits of the Mackinac here in Michigan, and like how we're always just that close to having a spill because there's always just a ship. And here's the thing about the Enbridge pipeline in Michigan, it's like it's either always a ship like doing some dumb shit like dragging an anchor, and that's donking the shit out of our pipeline to where it's like, oh, we almost had a spill. Which is like malfeasance to where it's like,
which interestingly enough is a lot like a Lucky Pierre.
right. So where all the environmentalists like have that right justifiably to go, this is why we shouldn't have pipelines, and it's like, you might be making sense, but then also you also see in our news all the time that some fucking doofus leftist decided to run out there and try to just hit the emergency switch to like cut the pipeline off, and it's like, oh god damn it. You guys made sense for a second, but now all of a sudden you guys are out there trying to cause an oil spill to stop an oil spill. So whenever I hear of oil spill, it just made it like it's just a personal thing. It makes me think of my personal bubble.
So in this scenario, the pipeline itself would be the Lucky Pierre.
It's either it's getting fucked by either the leftist or the the
rightist.
terrible- Yeah,
Is
the
that a thing?
rightist. The rightist.
Why
the
is leftist a term, but
anti-environmentalist?
why is leftist a term, but rightist is not?
No, it's alt right,
Ah, okay.
right?
Left.
Or white supremacist.
Anyway, we didn't research that at all, but that's a thing that happened today. Okay, so this is great news right here. This is fantastic. A mystery respiratory illness is affecting dogs all across the country. Apparently, a shit ton of cases of this in Oregon, I believe. Hundreds of cases of this mystery illness with these dogs. And the first thing that I could think of was, God damn it, you better quarantine your dog. No more shitting outside. Because this dog goes outside, it's going to be a mass spreader.
Well,
you're going to be a doggy murderer. And
Dad,
make sure you mask your dog. In fact, double mask your dog to make sure that this horrible fucking disease is not spread any further, and don't be a doggy murderer.
I understand the masking part, but like the shitting part is like, you know what? You're actually hitting home with that. Because
You have to let the dog shit in the house.
When a dog shits outside and then the owner doesn't pick it up, what is the first thing your dog does when he finds that shit? He just jams his nose into it. He jams his nose into it, or he eats it.
If you don't vaccinate your dog,
you're killing everyone else's dog.
Yeah, you're a murderer. You're a dog murderer.
You're gonna kill my dog's grandma. I won't be having that.
Breaking news.
My dog's grandma, who's 9 years old and has a life expectancy of 10. And I swear to God, if it dies at 9.5 years because of your dog, I'm going to be pissed.
Corey, breaking news. The U.S. government is efforting hundreds of thousands of doggy ventilators to get in so that we can try and maybe keep the vets, the animal hospitals empty for the more severe cases.
I'm not even going to fact check it. I'm just going to believe you.
It's 100% true. Absolutely true. We got to keep these animal hospitals clear. That's why you have to keep your dog inside.
I heard Petco has a vaccine already made that hasn't been tested that is sending it out.
Breaking news. Speaking of Petco, they just ran out of dog food from everybody buying it all up.
They bought it all up.
No, they ran out of dog toilet paper.
Yep, and doggy diapers and baby wipes. It's a real mess. It's a real mess.
News, all the dog parks are closed.
The supply lines of all kibble have been they're just completely ruined right now. We have to.
Isn't that like the worst dog food that you can give a dog to?
Kibble? Well, kibble is just a term that's used for dry food, but yeah.
No, but wasn't it Kibbles and Bits? I think it was like that.
Yeah, that was a brand.
Just basically just cereal.
You really haven't had a dog in a while.
Kibbles and Bits is a brand. Is the Kibbles and Bits not around anymore?
It is. I don't know if it is or not, but kibble is also just a word used for dog food.
Yeah, but you said kibble.
Dry dog
food. I
food.
thought of Kibbles and Bits, so that's not your fault, and that's not my fault.
It's the beer's
Kibbles
fault.
And Bits. It's Kibbles and Bits is crack job, A+, fucking knocking it out of the park.
Dude, we're only 19 minutes in, and you're already making me need to pour another bourbon.
Do it because I've drank a lot.
Should I give our free ad tonight? I am tonight drinking a Bardstown Origin Series 6 year. This place, by the way, if you ever have a chance to visit this place in Bardstown, Kentucky, is like fucking Google and bourbon had sex. Yeah, it's fucking weird.
I'm drinking a Miller Lite. And if you want to know what it is, just go to your local party store or gas station and you'll find it. It's not bad. It's a Pilsner.
You're such an asshole. Oh, man. That leads me right into our next opening topic, which is that there is a possible hostage deal looming for the hostages that were taken by Hamas back to Gaza. And the first thing that I found was a tweet, and I don't know if it's true. I'm just full disclosure. I just thought it was fucking hilarious. but it was a four corners image. The top left was CNN. The top right was MSNBC. The bottom left was Newsmax. And the bottom right was Fox News. Top left, CNN, MSNBC, and Newsmax all talking about the possible hostage deal. Meanwhile, the Fox News corner was Biden old LOL. I don't know if it's true, but it does sound on brand.
Wait,
it sounds on brand for Fox News.
You don't know if it's true if Biden's old?
Oh, I know that. I know Biden's old because I can count. But
all the way to 81?
I get all the way to 81, Corey. It's amazing.
That's tough for me.
Some days it's hard, especially when I've had too many Bardstown bourbons. I'm, by the way, not a sponsor of the show. I just enjoy the product.
I'm going to come over there and drink some Bardstown soon.
That does sound on brand for Fox News. Have you noticed, though, like Newsmax is super, like it's obviously a right-wing network, but I don't know if it's that they are trying to, quote unquote, be more legitimate. But I feel like sometimes, as crazy as they can be with right-wing stuff, they at least try. Like occasionally, like with this.
Newsmax, that's Cuomo, right?
No, that's News Nation. That's the left-wing version. Newsmax is right-wing. Newsmax is like the...
is it like OAN?
Yes, it's very similar to that. Very similar to OAN.
How the fuck are they still coming out with like mainstream media outlets?
They're not. Like I'm pretty sure Newsmax and OAN are no longer available on cable stations. But like if you have a smart TV, like I have a smart TV, right? And they have like those internet channels that come with the smart TV. Newsmax is on there and OAN is on there. But yeah, they're not a part of any cable package anymore, as far as I know. Maybe Newsmax is. I could be wrong. Somebody can correct us on that. But I don't believe OAN is available anymore.
I really hope that
because they're the bad people.
Wasn't legitimate in like them talking about gender fluid, because I feel like we talked a little bit of shit about that.
Yeah, with Liberty Twitcher.
Yeah.
They is their pronoun today. And I'm not fucking making that up. Look, here's the comment. It's right here. Everybody can see it. They said it. Everybody chill out.
Who's they?
I don't know who they are. I don't know who they is. So if they is a singular pronoun, do you still say is? They is? They is not? Okay, I have no idea. Anyway, yeah, so Biden, what's interesting about the hostage deal to me is like, it actually is good press for Joe Biden. Like if he's actually working to get hostages released, especially when you look at the mainstream narrative when it comes to Israel. Israel good, Palestine bad kind of deal. Not that that's our opinion, but that's kind of the mainstream opinion.
Media, yeah.
Yeah, that's the mainstream opinion.
They're doing their best to try to keep that narrative going, but
so it is kind of on brand for Fox News to be like, "Oh my God, this is good news for Joe Biden. We got to just talk about how he's old." Yeah, and hold on, who is it? Was it Avi Meyer? Yes, it was. It was Avi Meyer. So he goes on Twitter, or I'm sorry, X, from about 3:30 today, Tuesday, November 21st.
What date do you think it is to where people stop doing that? I'm sorry to go off on a tangent, but what's the date, like a specific date in the future where everyone stops going Twitter? I'm sorry, I mean X.
Never.
And where everyone just says X and everyone knows what they're talking about.
I'm not going to make that prediction, Corey. Although my 2023 prediction is coming to fruition, you will get a chance to hear again what that is as we get to our end of the year episode. However, Avi Meyer, after Corey so rudely interrupted me.
On Twitter, I mean X.
X, Twitter X, Twix. Let's call it Twix.
Okay.
He says, remember this, the Palestinians who will be released in the impending deal are convicted terrorists who are in prison because they tried to murder Israelis. The Israelis who will be freed are innocent civilians being held hostage by terrorists. There is no equivalence. So what I see here is the Palestinian prisoners are all terrorists defense. It's kind of like the, you don't want to be in jail? shouldn't have committed the
Stop
crime.
being Palestinian.
Stop being a criminal. You don't want to be in jail. But like that's the narrative,
Stop
right?
living in Gaza.
That's the mainstream narrative.
I hate, dude. So the whole Israel-Palestinian thing is an absolute mess, right? Like I don't even like talking about it to anyone because, like I said in last week's episode, the only hero in my eyes in this fucking clusterfuck that is happening thousands and thousands of miles away that don't affect
Not thousands and thousands, just a few thousand.
A few thousand. So 1,000 plus 1,000 plus 1,000, which is thousands and thousands.
That's thousand
Anyways,
and thousand and thousand.
Before I was really interrupted by Dan. The only heroes I see in that whole scenario is the doctors who are in the hospitals trying to save newborn infants and premature babies. When both sides are like, you need to get the fuck out of there. And they're like, well, if I do, this baby's going to die. So I'm staying put. And that's it.
You mean the people that are trying to make, and not even just kids and babies, but like people in general, people that are trying to make people not dead.
Yeah. Those are the only heroes in my eyes in all of this. But go ahead and oh man, I lost my train of thought. I had a whole point to that, Dan. I was gonna say read it again so I could hear it, but
the Palestinian prisoners are all terrorists, kind of defense.
Yeah, I lost it.
Don't want to go to jail. Should have done the crime. Yeah. So So for those who don't know, I mean, who knows? By the time anybody listens to this, because like I said at the beginning of the show, nobody listens to Thanksgiving podcasts, which is why we got hammered and decided to just talk shit for an hour and a half.
Oh, you're hammered now?
No, I'm not yet, but I'll get there.
Welcome to the club.
I'll catch up. I'll get there. But the whole point is that now I lost my fucking train of thought, Corey. God damn it.
Fuck. Should I go get my dad?
Oh, no, I remember what I was going to say. Hostages. The deal might actually be released by the time anybody listens to this, but they're very close to the deal that would release certain amount of hostages every day for like 4 to 5 days in exchange for essentially a ceasefire for those 4 to 5 days. There's no deal to this point to release all of the hostages because how can you keep war going? How can you make an excuse to keep war going if there's no hostages? We have to have hostages. Hostages are important. We have to make it seem like we're helping to get hostages released. Again, good look for Biden. I understand conservatives don't like that. They don't like when Biden has a good look when he's involved in things like this. However, I think it's probably a little bit phony because we're still going to have hostages. And at least to this point, as of 8:30 p.m., on Tuesday, November 21st. But
2 days
there is
before we
a
celebrate
possible
colonialism.
Yes, that's absolutely right. Yes.
Feel free to ignore it. Said Libsertive is cool. And I feel like she might be sincere, but my immediate
assuming gender.
reaction,
You're assuming gender. You're assuming gender again.
They, them, whatever. I don't care.
You just have to use every one.
Their name is feel free to ignore. I didn't have to acknowledge them in the first place, Dan. What I'm saying is, even though this comment might be sincere, I feel like it's both pandering and condescending. Oh, the assertive is cool. Thanks.
See, this is why you don't like text people when you have something serious to say.
This is why I don't drink as much as I did before most shows.
Yeah. You know what we never got to was how I'm going to call them synthetic leftists because they're not real leftists. Love the Bin Laden letter now, like all of a sudden, like as if none of them ever read it.
Well, he made good points, Dan.
He made some good points. You know, Hitler had some good ideas too. Yeah, that's a joke. Everybody fucking chill out. That was your topic, Corey. That's one you want.
Yeah, so his letter, I didn't read it. I just heard people talking about it. And basically he talks about like America, like in some
I didn't read it, but I'm going to tell you how you should feel about it.
I'm not telling them how they should feel about it. I literally right before the show I was like, hey, anyone read this letter? But I probably read it like 10 years ago, but I just don't remember. But like the premise of it is like the reason why I decided to kill a bunch of Americans is because you guys have too much freedom and you stick your nose in everyone's business.
Yeah, so that
a good
brings
way to put it.
That's basically what that's basically what it says. Because what's interesting is that like you have
Hey,
leftists.
Bell, try to find that letter real quick because someone just said he was not responsible for 9/11.
Yeah,
and
if he did say that, if he did say that, it wasn't in the letter. So, God damn it! Now I fucking forgot my train of thought again.
Thanks a lot, Columbus. Thanksgiving. Getting Corey all drunk because his family's in the house.
Here's what I was going to say.
Style.
Now I'm starting to feel the booze. Now it's starting to screw with my head.
Let it course through your blood. Feel it.
But it's mostly these synthetic leftists that are most of these people were not born for 9/11. Can you believe that? Isn't that crazy?
Doesn't that make you feel old as shit?
It doesn't necessarily make me feel old, but it makes me realize I'm getting older. So
God, it feels like just yesterday.
A lot of them.
America told everyone to hate Muslims, and we are afraid of everything.
Yeah, now we're there. I don't know.
Now we're there again.
On that.
Yeah,
not,
we're
yeah,
back.
pretty
we're
much.
Back there.
Yeah, we're back there.
Maybe
Depending
never
on
left.
But yeah, so what a lot of them like to say is, and a lot of people on the left that I actually respect, that I don't consider synthetic leftists, that are real leftists and have principles. They're wrong about a lot of stuff, but they're still principled. A lot of times what they like to say is that the neocon take from 2001 to 2012, was it 2012 that bin Laden was killed? They like to say that the narrative that bin Laden and jihadist Muslims don't hate us because we're free, because that was the kind of the neocon narrative, right? They hate us because we're free. They hate us because we're free, which is certainly a ridiculously simplified take on what caused 9/11 and what causes jihadism. However, in bin Laden's letter, he essentially says that he hates us because we're free. Now, does that mean that's the reason 9/11 happened? Does that mean that jihadist terrorism throughout the Middle East is just because we're free? No, I think that's ridiculous. I think we have a lot of culpability in that. It is remarkably more complicated than that. But yes, bin Laden and jihadist Muslims do hate us because we're free. That is kind of part of it.
Well, jihadist Muslims. So it's very, very important to distinguish the two, because I don't want to sound like a neocon. Like, there's 2.8.
So hold on. I can't pronounce your name. Hudaluna says that he didn't say that. Read it again. No, he didn't specifically say that. But if you reread the first, I don't know, page or so of the letter, yes, like, he doesn't directly say I hate them because of their freedom, but the implication is certainly there in droves.
Because we don't follow like the old school Islamic law, which, to be fair, I'm not attacking Muslims specifically.
It's the whole biblical Sodom and Gomorrah argument. That's what it is.
Orthodox Judaism, like the really legalistic Christians, the non-denominationals, they're not legalistic like that. They get a couple pastors and they're just like, give us your money and it'll solve all your problems. Non-denominationals have a capitalistic problem of their own. But in the letter, he talks about like what we would consider normal everyday living in America, like the debauchery, the smoking, the drinking, gambling, all of these different things. They cross-cut the grain of someone who is very idealistic in the Islam religion, But that's like, and again, that's not specific to any religion, because if you talk to any hardcore Christian in our country, they also think the government is supposed to be the ones that kowtow, those type of things, and there should be a strong iron fist on all of this stuff. And he is saying those type of things, and then I think he alludes to the idea that because Americans voted these people into power to allow these things, that no American is innocent.
Right.
Just like how Israel is saying no Palestinian is innocent. Where in Gaza right now.
Hold on. That's not exactly true.
What do you mean it's not exactly true?
There are plenty of folks in Israel who are against the Israeli government's.
Right.
Are you talking about the government? You're talking about statists.
Yeah, like the narratives that are spun, that are put into a funnel through mainstream media. Because our mainstream media right now is saying Hamas bad, Israel good, when there's a lot more nuance to it and a lot more context.
Yeah.
Bin Laden's letter was American citizens bad, and blame American citizens for voting these people into power. And it's like, there's more to it. There's more nuance to that, just like there's more nuance to the people living in Gaza.
Holy shit, Bin Laden had a point. We are morons for the people we vote into power. I'm kidding. I'm actually not. Am I kidding? I don't know if I'm kidding. Did I just do the Hitler had some good ideas thing? Did I just accidentally do that? Did I just accidentally pull that off? I did not mean to do that.
Did you just go, well, FDR should have just locked up Japanese people, because we don't know which one's good, which one's bad.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know which ones are going to blow up an IED.
Just lock them all up and we'll figure it out.
This is why we can't get drunk.
Domino Day sometimes seems like it's a good idea. That was obviously a joke.
Yeah. So yeah, there's more nuance to it than that. But yes,
obviously.
But yes, if you look at Bin Laden's letter from, say, like a libertarian perspective,
Bell's supposed to find it to back us up on this, but I don't know what he's doing.
He might have found it. I think he found it.
I'm gonna add him to the.
I did not find it. I'm literally looking for it.
It's hard to find now. It's hard to find.
I heard about that earlier. How scrubbed is it?
Go ahead, Bell. Let Bell go. What's up, Bell?
There is so many articles
about the letter, but you can't find the letter.
About the letter. Can't find the letter. And
so
a lot of the articles are just how TikTok banned Bin Laden's letter to America, why YouTube banned, or why WAPO took it down, or whatever.
So again, like I said, I probably haven't I feel like I've read the letter.
I'll find it.
But I haven't read it in like 10 years. But where I'm at with that said letter right now is what's worse. A bunch of young kids reading this letter and getting just a smidge more of context and perspective on like geopolitical shit, good or ill. Or the hammer ban coming down from all the mainstream medias. One of our
did Flowstick find it? Go to the private chat, Bell. I think Flowstick might have found it.
I can't copy. Oh fuck! Fuck! I can't just copy it. I can show it, but I can't just copy it. Yeah, just hey Bell, just pluck that out on your keyboard real quick. But so like I said, like I'm not personally like the letter, like there probably would be something that I'd read in it privately, like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But what's worse is this letter being publicly available to people and people reading it and having a little bit more of a repulsive view of like America geopolitics, or just straight up banning it to where no one can read it.
Banning it to where no one can read it.
That's absolutely worse.
Well, and that's and like so this is what's interesting about this. So who I find it actually really interesting that places like WAPO pulled this down, because
the Guardian pulled it down too.
The Guardian pulling it down, because this does kind of this supports what you would consider the synthetic leftist narrative, which is what the Guardian supports, which is what WAPO supports. But they're at this weird crossroads where can't do this because it might mean we're anti-Semitic and we don't like that either. So, but like this is where you end up when you develop this weird censorship culture that finally comes back to bite you in the ass, which is what so many of these publications did. Like, I don't feel bad for them.
Like the leftist Gen Zs who are liking this letter, censoring it, pulling it down. You're doing the exact same thing of just letting them go into the creps and find this information on their own. And then everyone's kind of like in the shadows talking about it.
Yeah.
You're creating the same thing that they did to people on the right when they were trying to ban their topics. It creates conspiracies. It creates echo chambers. It creates silos. And they're literally doing the same thing with this because people on the left are more apt to have a judgmental view on our, like, right, justifiably so.
The synthetic
on our
left,
government.
not the real left, the synthetic left. You got to put that caveat in there.
Right, but I don't think that his topics, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a crumb of truth in things that he said.
Always.
Where it doesn't matter if you're left or right. I'm sure there's something in that letter, in the vague way that he does it, that someone goes, yeah, well, I do agree with that. I bet you there's something in that letter for every single American that would go, I agree with that. And that's taken out of context. I mean, if someone just took something from the letter and just said one sentence from it and didn't attribute to where it came from, so there was no bias or anything like that.
Well, that's interesting, right? So, like, the folks on the neocon right are the people that for since 2016 when Trump was elected and all the way up through COVID, were like, there's nuance. They use the word nuance. And I love the word. To quote Jesse Singal, whom I love, Blocked and Reported, great podcast. I'm a pervert for nuance. And so, like, I love actual nuance, but, like, folks on the neocon right use that all the time. They use that all the time to, talk shit about the way that, the mainstream media and the federal government were censoring discussion about Trump or the Hunter Biden laptop or COVID stuff. There's a lot of nuance to this. We need all this stuff out there. But now we have a situation where the neocon right, who is remarkably pro-Israel, is sitting here and kind of on the same side as a WAPO or a Guardian, where, like, no, we can't have people looking at Osama bin Laden's letter.
Nikki Haley, like, everyone needs to be verified if they're going to be on social media.
Oh my dude, she is. I didn't think I would say this. I did not think I would say this 6 weeks ago, 3 months ago, whatever. She is 100% the absolute worst presidential candidate, worse than Joe Biden. Worse than Donald Trump. She is atrocious.
If anyone shows the smallest hand, the smallest tinge of being authoritarian, I'm immediately appalled, repulsed, gone. Yeah, like I want to puke.
So you don't like any of them, ever?
Oh, on the Democrat? Yeah, no, that's the problem. And everyone calls me an idealist because my bar is so high, and I'm like, no, like, you guys lowering your bar is the reason why we're at.
No, that's just being a libertarian. That's what that is. But
I don't even consider myself libertarian.
I know, but you and I both, yes, you and I both have definitely libertarian views. You just as far as, like, the way the world should run doesn't make us diehard libertarians.
As possible, smallest government possible. That doesn't mean I want people who can't afford or don't have the means to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. We need to take care of those people. Absolutely.
By the way, Corey, did you have to finish that point? Go ahead.
That's it.
I was just going to ask this question.
Keep rambling.
I was just going to ask this question. This is a hard turn.
Give me the mic and I'm going to grab on it.
Does Ukraine still exist? Like, is Ukraine still a place, or
as a country, or as a talking point?
Does it exist? Does it exist at all, or did the synthetic lefties replacing the Ukrainian flag emoji with the Palestinian flag emoji just make Ukraine disappear? because that's kind of what it feels like. It's just gone now. Like that's how when people like they post the memes
Isn't
about
that
like
sad?
but that's the people that post the memes about like I support the current thing, dude. Those things are so fucking accurate because whatever the current thing is, look, this is garbage now. I don't need to worry about Ukraine anymore. We got Palestine to worry about.
I feel so cynical in life, Dan, because like
It's awful.
When I'm driving and then I'll be literally driving like down like a 2-lane highway and I'll see a house and they have a Ukrainian flag out front and I'm just like
And it's just neglected and it's starting to fray at the edges.
Right. And I'll go, fucking idiot. And then I'll look forward because I need to look at the lane because I'm driving, Dan. Obviously,
You're driving.
I need to look where I'm going.
Of
and
course.
there'll be a car in front of me and it'll have a Blue Lives Matter flag. And I'm just like, fucking idiot.
Fucking idiot. No. It's even better when you look ahead and you see that the bumper sticker in front of you, there's two bumper stickers. One of them's a thin blue line flag, and the other one's a "Don't Tread on Me" flag. And you go.
So Flo, I'm gonna cut you off because Flo
Go ahead.
here had a phenomenal point.
Sure.
Go ahead and read that off.
In America, our quote unquote bed isn't made, and we tend to get very involved in the affairs of everyone else's beds. Why? That's
Good
the comment.
question. Why?
I wish we could fucking answer that question. I honestly, like that's part of the reason we do this show. I think the simple answer is, geopolitical power. I think that's a big part of it. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that it's this neoconservative idea that if America's not the world's powerhouse, then who's gonna be? Somebody's got to be the world's powerhouse.
So that's the political point of view, but then like there's like the fiscal, like monetary point of view. And our money
same deal though. It all applies to the same concept.
Our money is based on fiat currency, which is basically like, oh well, our dollar's worth $1 because we say it's worth $1.
Yeah.
And we have to keep throwing muscle around to make sure that dollar stays $1 because we say it's
but at the end of the day, Corey, it all has to do with power. It all has to do with if America's not leading the globe, then somebody's got to lead the globe.
We don't keep just giving bombs to Israel. What's going to happen with the BRICS currency, Dan?
No, the thing is, like, it's not a completely stupid concept, right? Like, you obviously don't want communist China running the globe.
Right. It's frustrating because we let ourselves get into this scenario.
Yes. There's a lot of goofy distractions. It's like nobody has the answers. The smartest people I know, not even the smartest people I know personally, but the smartest people that I read, that you read, that we listen to, that we talk to, all of these folks, like, nobody's really got an answer to that question. So I will tell you this, Flo, keep fucking asking that question. Ask that question until your tongue falls out. Yeah. We all need to ask that question. Did you have something else? Or can we move on?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm just going to say, because if we keep asking that question, eventually someone's going to have to come up with a coherent answer.
Somebody.
They will come up with the answer.
Who are they? Who is they?
I don't know.
Are they?
But everyone always refers to them and they. Like, well, they said this. And
all right, Corey.
Go, oh, well, they said it, so obviously, like,
we got to get Bell involved. As we've said, Thanksgiving podcasts nobody listens to. That's why we had some fun. I think this has been a good episode so far. It's not over yet, folks. We're not ending the show. We have to discuss what it is during this beautiful family season that we're thankful for.
Did I write it down? I hope I did, because that earlier
you did not do the fucking homework, did you?
No, I got one.
All right. We'll start with you then, Corey. Tell us what you're thankful for.
Okay.
I'm going to bring Bell in
I'm
here.
thankful for no matter how fucked up our country gets, I can bitch about it.
Oh man, that is a seriously conservative talking point, Corey. You should be ashamed.
How is that conservative? What? No.
What? No. What?
No.
Are you what?
No, like look at it right now. Israel now is jailing journalists who are going against their narrative in this whole war against Hamas. Ukraine is chilling journalists who are doing this. And yes, in America, we do have some journalists that get fucked up and get jailed. Julian Assange, Michael Hastings, Matt Taibbi, Michael Schellenberg. Like, there's a million you can name. But short of Julian Assange, most of them are still walking free, other than Michael Hastings, who is dead. R.I.P. Michael Hastings. But in most other countries, like Australia, you remember when people were talking about their whole COVID thing and like people were just getting into camps? Like they had literal camps in Australia. People were getting arrested in the UK. Like a majority of other countries, freedom of speech is like, they're like, oh, well, yeah, we allow freedom of speech, but they don't have a constitution that they can actually rely upon.
That's interesting because do you honestly, like, because I've thought about this a lot, like the COVID regime, not just in the United States, but like globally, right? I've actually given this a considerable amount of thought, and that whole thing gave me, it actually gave me a feeling of optimism because you had a situation. This isn't bullshit. I know certain folks will tell us why we're wrong for certain reasons, but like when you look at other governments throughout the world and they're more authoritarian measures as it pertains to COVID, they had severe authoritarian measures of like putting people in camps when they got sick, or like these weird things that you would never think would ever happen, and then like they all came out of it. Like the idea that like as people we can just stand up and like this is what globally and in America we need to understand is like we can all stand up and make this fucking bullshit stop. Like if we really want to make this bullshit stop, we can actually make it stop. And I think a lot of that, and I'll get into one of the things that I'm thankful for in a second, but it kind of pertains to that, which is that like as awful as I thought Donald Trump was as a president, he pointed out so many flaws in our system, and he pointed out ways in which we as human beings, as Americans, can go, we're not doing this anymore. And I have a 2024 prediction for you that will absolutely corroborate what I just said. Am I too drunk, or did anything I just say make sense?
I think it made sense.
I like it.
All right. While I have it on the mind, shall I go into what I'm thankful for? We'll let Belle go last.
Yeah, Dan, what are you thankful for?
So I have one that's very jokey, so we'll start with that one. I'm thankful for Vivek Ramaswamy for his entertainment value. His foreign policy is like a Midwestern mom talking to her husband about how she's going to go downstairs and get an unruly sleepover under control. That is Vivek Ramaswamy's foreign policy. We're going to just tell China. We're going to go in. I'm going to talk to Xi, and we're going to say this is what we expect. You're going to go to bed at this hour, and we're going to make this happen. That's Vivek Ramaswamy's. That's his foreign policy. It is. It's a Midwestern mom saying that she's going to get an unruly sleepover under control.
I'll send those kids home. I will. I'll do it.
But
do you guys want to go home? Do you guys want this sleepover to end right now?
Yeah, exactly. That's Vivek Ramaswamy's foreign policy. But the thing that I'm actually thankful for is RFK Jr.'s presidential run. Not even because I fully agree with him, because I don't. Like when he came out about essentially endless money to Israel after he spent months and months and months talking about ending American hegemony, I went, dude, you lost me a little bit here. But here's why I'm thankful. Because I have a 2024 prediction. My 2023 prediction is already coming to fruition, which we'll get to as we get to the end of the year. So I'm going to make another one early. My 2024 prediction is this. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., all the way up until election night in November of 2024, is going to make Republicans and Democrats nervous. he is going to be relevant. Relevant. I'm not saying he's going to win, but he is going to be Ross Perot style relevant all the way up until election night of 2024. The polling numbers are showing this. Young voters are showing this. That's good. That is my early pre-Thanksgiving 2024 prediction, which we will readdress as we get towards the end of the year. But I am thankful for that. And why am I thankful for that? Because just like so many of us that aren't in these goofy political silos of Donald Trump bad, Joe Biden bad. Most of our listeners, I think at this point, realize we all know that they're both bad. For those outside of that, whether you agree or disagree with RFK Jr., you want him to have relevance on election night because it shows that we actually have What? We actually have a chance to change something if we want to.
I didn't mean to just say that, but like when you were talking, but I asked Belle if that was a grizzly pear.
You saw a squirrel. It's okay.
Sure is, pal.
They don't even make that.
I also had a rosé.
I don't give a shit about the rosé. The rosé was a headache.
I like the rosé, and I also had a black Phillip tonight.
Yeah, it was a headache to make. But like that's the part of that's part of Blake's throwback case. It's Black Phillip rosé.
We've been getting them.
Belle, what are you thankful for?
Well, Dan, I have to be thankful for this internet connection that I have here. I have to be thankful for that. But on a real note,
you can actually hear it. That's what makes that even more beautiful.
God damn.
What do you think before Belle?
On a real note, I gotta be.
His face is frozen.
What did you do to him, Dan?
You just jinxed me.
It's the Israelis.
I don't even know what that was. It's the Israelis.
I blame IDF.
They did approve that ceasefire. Thank you.
Did that just happen?
Yeah, they just approved it. And they're gonna release a little over 50 hostages. So.
Ooh, that's breaking news here on Libservative.
Yeah. Yes, it is. So
that's perfect.
I'm hoping that that all works out.
Hey, Bright Nice is here. Bright Nice.
Hell
so
yeah.
It's a Tuesday, not a Wednesday. And Bella said, I wonder if Bright Nice is going to show up.
And he did.
I said, Bright Nice will absolutely be here. And I really appreciate you for not letting me down.
Showing
that. Can I change my answer? I'm thankful for Bright Nice.
Yeah. We need one. We need one super fan
that.
of our 8 listeners.
Just one.
That's him.
No, I know we actually have more than 8 listeners because I actually did get some comments on my audio quality the last few weeks. Because it was shit. Yes, it was shit. I was trying to fix it. I had a USB problem. I was going through a soundboard, and it was garbage. So yes,
I know you had some pops. I remember mentioning it.
It was not good. It was not good. I hope it's much better this evening. We'll find out when I finally edit the final recording of the podcast. And I guess to end it, we are all thankful for all of our listeners. I want everybody to have a happy Thanksgiving, and just do what I do over any holiday.
Get really drunk?
But also I avoid politics. When you're with your family, you don't need to pick up the phone. You don't need to search Twitter and avoid and look for the geopolitical stuff. Enjoy the stuff that matters.
Oh, Dan, you know what I'm also thankful for?
What's that?
The game.
You're not going to get me, Corey.
The game.
You're not going to get me.
You're wearing red, you piece of shit. Okay, so you know what?
You're talking about? God, I thought you were talking about the game, the stupid game that you played in college, where if you think about the game, you lose the game.
Not that game. I'm talking about the game. You know what my asshole son said to me today? You know what my
You're
asshole
suspended 3 games.
I'm suspended for 3 podcasts.
You know what my asshole son said to me?
Your
That little
asshole
prick of a 4-year-old.
4-year-old son. Yeah, what did he say?
That little prick. So today it was a celebration at his school. You know, it was like the Thanksgiving celebration, and I was in there like, oh yeah, celebrate colonialism, and everyone like, no, I didn't say that, but I'm I'm in the class and I have to read a book. I had to read a book to the class.
You have to read a book for school? That's weird. Nobody does that.
And like one of the pages, it was talking about like Thanksgiving, and it showed just a football on the TV screen. And I was like, oh, yeah, you know, like, by the way, you know, football, like, there's going to be a lot of football this weekend. And I looked at my son and I was like, right, Corey, like football, like go blue. And he goes, hey, Dad. And I was like, what? And he goes, I'm going to say go red. And I was like, yeah, well, and in front of all of his classmates and the teachers and everything, I said, well, son, you can walk home.
Well, you don't have to be too upset with him, because technically, and Ohio State fans will get upset with you for saying it's red. It's not. It's scarlet and gray.
Yeah, okay.
Scarlet and gray.
Calling it blue and yellow, and it's like, no, it's maize.
It's maize and blue. Maize and blue.
Blue.
Go blue. Go Michigan. I know what it feels like to be a Trump supporter now, being a Michigan fan. So I apologize to all my Trump supporter friends out there. I don't actually, but I kind of do. Anyway, tell the people where they can find us, Corey.
The Assertive Podcast is found on all social media and podcast platforms. Our website is LiveSertiveShow.com. We can be found at LiveSertive on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Instagram and
Go for it. Keep going.
LiveSertive Podcast, and you can reach out directly at LiveSertivePod@gmail.com. Subscribe today. Hail to the victors.
The champions of the West. You don't even know the fucking fight song. Go blue! He's been for Bell the Bodysnatcher on the ones and twos. He's been Corey Walsh.
He's been Dan Griffin.
This has been Libservative. And until next time, go blue, and we are out of here.
Peace.